Welcome to the Cynical Marketers Podcast, where the greatest minds in marketing, we think, discuss marketing for an audience of several. And now, your hosts, Mike and Nada. All right, and welcome everybody. Episode 5. We are 25% of the way to that magic number. We keep counting down. We're going to keep doing it while we're heading towards that 20 that everybody quits by. So we're getting into it this week. Episode 5. We are talking about, is going viral worth it?
Is it, Mike? How do you feel about that? Because I know you have some strong feelings about it.
I do. And honestly, for the most part, no. We'll just start there. Now you can be done listening. Thank you to our many, many listeners. We have so many, we can name them. Thank you, Lance. Thank you, Matt, for your continued support. Kevin,
Yep.
Thank you to our listeners by the several, for tuning into us. We do appreciate it. So there, I just dropped it for you. No, I don't think it's worth it. For most, there's a caveat, of course. And there's a couple of people we'll talk about here during this as some examples and our own example, because we have gone viral on our TikTok, nowhere else, because everywhere else as a business page, it's pay to play 100%. So you're not
we just talked about the pay to play, right? When we talked about Meta, but we do have our own experience of going viral. And I think that you should definitely share that, because it was pretty early on at starting the Round 2 at Marketing TikTok account. Just a couple of months in.
We only had about 100 followers at the time. And I say it like that as if we're now huge. We've got just over 2,000 followers now. But we only had about 100 followers at the time, and this video hit, and it's got over 2 million views now on TikTok anyway. And a 2 million viewed video is by all accounts viral, especially when we only had 100 followers at the time. So that went viral, and we got exactly 0 business from it. And the followers we did pick up weren't in our audience. It didn't really do us any good. And the subject of the video too, I thought was within marketing. It's a PR related thing. It was related to J-Lo several months ago, when whatever the kerfuffle was over her, she had some issues. And I did a video where I said, based on my experience, and I've done some PR and some crisis management and have had like massive media problems that I've had to deal with before. So I said, on my experience, this is what I would have done. I would have recommended her to do this. And it was basically what I've told every CEO ever since. And for me, I don't know, just go out and tell the truth, and apologize.
Don't hide from the negative comments. Don't delete the comments.
Just apologize.
Don't hide. Just address it.
Nobody expects you to be perfect. It's okay. So that's what I said. And that went viral. And then the people who picked that up apparently thought that our account was some sort of celebrity tea spilling account.
Right.
So we were followed by a good amount of people, but no one who is really interested in anything else I've ever had to say ever since, because it's really what we talk about there is marketing stuff, marketing for businesses. So that one I thought was PR related and based on some of my own experience, and that went viral. And it didn't really do us any good. Got seen by a lot of people. Really. I've had another one too. Another post that I did not long ago. That's over 250,000 views on it. And it was a meme. That was funny. I led, it was a meme that was going around and popular. It's the scene from Goodfellas when Tommy's walking into what he thinks is the meeting getting made and everyone knows what happens, right? I made a meme on that. Other versions were going around and I jumped on this one for HR, and that's been very popular. Over 250,000 views. And every time I log into TikTok, I have more notifications and you're like, oh, did my last video, is that one working? Nope. It's this stupid one that I'm now sick of people notifying me for, because it doesn't do me. It hasn't done us any good. And in general, that's the case. Unless I want to talk about somebody who's kind of famous for this, ClickUp. I know you've probably seen their videos. And if you're watching or listening to us, you may not know their name, but I bet you've seen their videos. I'm going to play this one for you right now. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. If you're a Spotify listener, Matt, Lance, guys, if you want to see this video, if you're not watching on YouTube, I'm not sure where you're checking us, but our viewers, watchers, this is ClickUp's most popular. This has almost 20 million views on it. Check this out.
We're not family. professionally. You can't touch this. Hands.
Not touching hands.
You down with SOP? Who's down with SOP? Don't stand so close to Steve.
After all, it's a business call.
Don't get physical. Don't wanna get physical. Don't you get physical.
You can follow them on TikTok. There you go. I'm not stealing anything from them. That has
These
almost
guys are
20 million
funny.
views.
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah. Very
These
funny.
guys are
Very
hysterical.
talented.
And I remember this was a few months back when these first videos first started, right? That I was like, oh my God, Mike, these are so funny. And I shared a few of them, I think, with you and you did with me. And then I was like, wait, what did they do?
Right. That's my
Right?
question for you. If you've seen these, tell me what ClickUp does. Who are they? What is their company? Because if you go look at the comments, nobody knows. And everybody thinks they're actually an HR company, and they are not. ClickUp is a project management software tool that I've used. I've used it and I like it, and they don't pay me. Trust me, everybody. They don't pay me. And they started this, when they actually first started this last year, their first iteration of these humor videos that they were trying, they were making fun of project managers.
Yeah, they pivoted pretty quickly to other departments.
I know. Because I commented on one of their LinkedIn posts and they replied back to me. I'm like, oh, I'm not trying to pick a fight. I just thought it was interesting that I'm like, are you guys mocking like your primary audience?
Your target customer. Yeah.
And they got away from that pretty quickly. And then they discovered this. And these, they do these, videos and they're really funny. And these guys are talented and they've come up with a lot of these, parody songs, but no one knows what they do. So you get all these views and then no one knows what you do. And that's typically the kind of stuff you will have to do. If you're a business who wants to go viral, you're never going to go viral for your business content. If they made content that talks about ClickUp software and how it helps you manage projects in your business,
nobody would care.
People are going to fall asleep watching it, right? The only people who would be interested in it are maybe people who are in the market thinking, man, I need to switch up my project management software. Is there a better option, right?
Yeah.
And if you're a business, those are the people you're interested in talking to. Right. And that's who you do make that content for to the wide audience, going to be very boring and not interesting at all. So it's not going to go viral. If you want to go viral, you've got to do stuff like this. And then you're getting totally away from what your business is. Even if you pick up a ton of followers, the challenge you have then is, what happens if you really want to start talking about your business? Now people are going to be like, where are the funny songs at?
Where are the funny videos?
You need to get out here and dance. I'm looking for you to dance. I don't care about your product. That's why I followed you. I thought you guys were funny.
Right.
You've got that problem. Then you have the problem of just the internet fatigues over things very quickly.
Yeah.
So this is a wave they were riding. How do you stay on this wave then? What's going to happen to you? How do you pivot? And what happens when you pivot? Because everyone who liked you for this thing, will they go with you to the next idea that you have, the next thing you're going to pivot to? Probably not. Will you catch lightning in a bottle again? Probably not. So what are you going to do? You start chasing this. And again, you're a business. Now, ClickUp's in a different position because they did over $200 million in revenue last year.
Yes.
They're fine. Everything else they're doing is working. So they have a sales team. They're paying for ads. They're doing everything else right. They can afford to do whatever they want to with their social media. When you get to $200 million in revenue, you also can do whatever you want to with your social media. And until that point, though, I just wonder why. Why would you do it? How are you going to chase this? Do you have the talented people in your organization like these folks here? Do you have that? Likely no, because we work with a lot of you. None of you want to get on video at all.
That is true. And I was just about to say that. Like, it's interesting with ClickUp because these videos are funny, but they have kind of lost the magic a little bit, right? Because they've done all the HR ones, and those are funny. And I think
I got to turn that in case we could get a sponsorship.
I think that the videos are funny and they're interesting, but the HR ones, I think, were far funnier than all the IT ones they're trying to do now.
The new pivot, that they're doing.
Forced. And to your point, I think they are a $200 million company, so they're already doing fine. They have the budget and the ability to afford to have a campaign like this. What I was interested in, and I couldn't find any data on this, is how much money, if any, they've actually made from this specific campaign effort, right? So if you relate that to other small businesses, and I've seen some great stuff from small businesses and entrepreneurs and realtors, especially. I think realtors are getting really creative in how they're doing their videos.
Yeah, there's a lot of funny.
I think those are great. If they go viral, I can see why somebody would want to follow and be interested, and maybe that can give you some exposure. But I think the goal is to stay relevant to your business, right? So if you're a small business and you don't have the budget and you don't have time to sit here and come up with parody songs and parody skits, and because you're actually running a business,
right?
How do you, how do you keep your content interesting? And not, I don't think you should worry about going viral. Viral for a small business. I mean, our business didn't really do anything, and like you said, like, okay, if I make a funny, skit and I'm an accountant and that skit goes viral, how much accounting business is that actually bringing me? Probably nothing. Just nothing really.
So it means you're talented and creative and funny, but can you help my business, make sure that I don't get in trouble with the government when we file taxes and whatnot, right? Like none of those things don't connect. And especially on the B2B side, I really don't get it.
Yeah.
Like
I don't either.
ClickUp is software for businesses, and individuals can buy it and use it too. But like if you're somebody who sees this and then you want to take this to like a committee at your work to say, hey, we should switch to ClickUp. Oh, that's okay. That's interesting. Why? I saw a funny video from these guys. I don't know how you take that to work and say, I saw these influencers, so I want to try out this business product, And I'm sure, look, at their level of going viral, 20 million people seeing a video, I'm sure they picked up business from it. That's a huge net, I'm sure within that 20 million, they caught people who would be interested now, who look into who they are, and see. But if you go look at the comments, most of the comments are confused about what they do. And that people are like, oh, you guys, they're funny. Can I hire you guys for HR? I'm like, no. It's a boring.
They do. I mean, they did kind of come off as an HR company. We've been in this space for a minute, and I honestly didn't even know. I have seen their name before looking at project management tools, but I didn't know what they do. Yeah. And so when I saw the funny HR videos last year, I'm like, oh, these are great. These are funny. I still have no idea what this company does, and I'm in this space. So where we do use project management tools all the time. So
sure. And again, as a $200 million company that they are, they can afford to try some of this stuff. It's okay for them. If you're not at that level and your resources are, you have to really guard your resources and use them effectively and wisely. So social media is a great tool, but you want to chase going viral. I just don't think it's worth the time, the effort, and the energy for the return on it. And then again, what happens if you do go viral? Like our J-Lo video, then in the videos after that, you're thinking in your head, you're like, okay, well, should I just start making videos commenting on celebrity issues and how I would deal with them then? That would be great maybe for that audience who followed me, and I would have gotten more likes, but I'm like, no, we can't do that. That's not what our business is. It doesn't help us. So even if like in your mind and your dopamine receptors are like, I loved all of that traffic and loved the notifications when you log in, it just doesn't help your business. And that's what your social media is supposed to be doing. You're trying to reach the people who are potential customers. And to go viral, you're going to be seen by people who are never going to be customers. So it doesn't help you to get a million views. if you're an accountant in Savannah, Georgia, who cares how many people in Seattle, Washington watched your video? If you only work with local people, right? If you're and this is where I say too, going viral kind of depends on your product. If you are a consumer product that sells direct to consumer online, so you can have customers come from anywhere, and you're at a price point that I call an impulse buy, like under $30 a unit,
Right.
try to go viral. Yeah, for sure. Try to be seen by as many people as you can. Your goal is just to be seen by as many as you can and throw a big blanket out there and get as many eyeballs on you coming to your website as you can, because you're an impulse purchase. But if you're a service-based business, you're a B2B, or you're a product that's a little bit more expensive and your purchase cycle is a little bit longer than an instant.
Yeah.
Going viral, maybe gets you a bunch of eyeballs, but leading to business. You're an auto repair shop in town. Again, what good does it do you 1 million people in Seattle, Washington see your video? They're never going to be customers. So it's my thought.
It's an interesting one though, for sure, because I have seen some folks, really kind of pivot their business. And I had mentioned a realtor yesterday that does a great kind of walkthrough of videos where she hides in different spots in the properties that she's showing on video. Like, I thought that was clever. And
it's great, but she's at property, right? It's relatable to the business. She is doing something different. But it's also
interesting that, like, I'm watching her and I'm not even in her state. I'm not in that area, right? So she is getting seen, but it may not necessarily bring her business. I think this pivots to what we always say is use your social media as brand proof, right? So build your brand, talk to your customers. You've done a ton of videos on this, Mike, where you say, like, answer your FAQs. What are the most common questions you get from your customers? Do videos on those. If you're going to try to chase going viral and you are comfortable enough to do a TikTok dance or whatever the heck, right, to try to go viral, then why not just make regular video content for your business? And that way, if somebody does come across because they're searching for your type of business in your area, at least there's enough social proof for them to tell them you're a legit person, you're a legit business, you know what you're talking about, especially for B2B and service businesses. I think that's huge. Doing your FAQs, doing, definitely doing social video, right? Like video on social media can be really, really huge. That doesn't mean you need to chase the viral aspect of things. Like, more than likely, I think like 99% of the time, it's not going to help your business if you go viral. We know that from experience, and we've heard it from other people from experience,
I think it's okay. Now, this depends on your cadence. And if you are actually producing a decent amount of content and you're not just doing it sporadically here and there, I think it's okay. Like, if 80-90% of your content is that business focus and you want to mix in some personality stuff.
Sure.
That's
absolutely.
Fine. Right. Like, you dance, you want to jump on a trend and try something, be a little funny. That's okay, as long as the vast majority of your content's doing the other thing. But if you're really sporadic with it, like you're one of those people, you're only posting a couple of times a week, maybe, then I wouldn't. Because if you only are posting twice a week, you have very limited real estate that you have dedicated to get out there. And I would use that time then to make content that answers questions of my potential customers, not waste it dancing. If you make more, you have room to do some of that other stuff. But if you're not, very limited real estate on there, I would focus on my customers then.
Yeah. Absolutely agree.
So, all right.
But ClickUp guys are funny though.
They're funny for sure. And I know it's led to some other stuff. I've seen one of them now. I've seen him. He's got another business, I think.
Yeah.
I think he started a side business doing this as consulting or something. And I'm not 100% because I didn't know his name. I saw this as an ad for something. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's the ClickUp guy. Who's doing this other thing now too. And I don't know what his role is at the company either, or if he's a consultant or what. He's the one who replied back to me because I saw his post on LinkedIn. I'm either connected or like second level connection to him, and someone is how I first saw their very first thing.
Yeah.
So
I saw them. I saw them on Instagram the first time. So yeah, they're interesting, but
really funny. But for most businesses, again, our recommendation is, hey, look, doing your content for social media is already a big challenge. Most of you don't have teams of people doing this stuff for you who have that
And it
time and
takes
dedication.
time. Yep.
You're probably a solopreneur or a small mom and pop shop.
Right.
Use your time a little bit more wisely and really focus on your customers instead. At the point you start really growing and you got a little bit more time, add in some funny stuff if you want. If you have the talent for it, you got the time. But again, most of you don't want to do this to begin with. So I doubt you really want to dance and not be seen, because you got every bit as much a chance of going viral for doing something stupid.
True story. And then sometimes the comments on some of the viral videos too that I've seen from smaller businesses are just brutal. Like, sometimes
especially
that attention is
when you're
not good
doing it
attention.
to try. The internet recognizes when you are a tryhard.
Right.
And when you are trying to do something on purpose, hoping to go viral, the internet recognizes it and they're going to call you out.
Yeah.
It doesn't go good. It just hurts your brand, I think. Again, your authenticity, and that you don't have much chance with that to maintain and keep that once it's gone. And I don't know. So, all right. That's our feeling about it, everybody. We could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
I don't know. I still say be consistent, talk about your business, do things that are natural to you. Don't try to force things that are out of your comfort zone. If you're already not comfortable making content, stick to making content that makes sense for your business. This is, again, going back to protect your brand, right? Like, protect your brand, build your brand equity, drive the right people to your website. Going viral can be fun. It is cool to say, oh, we have 2 million views on one of our videos. But when you sit down and you're like, ooh, but that didn't translate to really anything in terms of our, bottom line, our revenue, then you're like, okay, well, that's cool to say, but that's about the extent of that clout,
Right. And I think what you said about do things that are natural to you is exactly right. If you can't dance, then don't try, if you're not funny or humorous, like, it's hard on camera. These are people who probably have a little bit of media training. They might be, there's a lot of folks out there with like Second City training and time, who can do these kinds of things. What I tell businesses when you're new to this and you're kind of raw on camera and stuff, that's why you focus on your business, because your business inside and out. So you should be at least comfortable talking about that. Where you're not comfortable talking to a camera and having this weird feeling, right? Because in my setup right now, I'm staring at a camera and I'm not seeing you. I'm just looking at a camera. There's no one else around.
Like, you're just
But on video, then it looks like, oh, you're engaging with this audience.
Right.
So it's a weird feeling for people. So then stick to the things that you know well, so you've got that covered. You're not trying to do a script or anything. You know your business. You know your customers. That's why you stick to those things, so that this other thing that you're new at, that's the only thing you're really working on improving.
Right.
Not trying to do lots of things at one time here. Now, I've never done this. I don't know how to do this. How do I set up cameras for this? Like, it's crazy.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right.
All right.
Hey, I think that's the episode. Pretty good talk. If you disagree with us, let us know.
Let us know. Give us some examples too. If you have any examples in the comments of things that we should check out that have gone viral and we may have missed it, let us know.
We love hearing from anyone. Lance, for sure,
we're
Matt,
looking at
maybe.
We're
Next
looking
week,
at you, Uncle Lance.
I think we got a guest coming, so we've ironed out a guest. Now it's just the scheduling and making sure we can get this recorded. So I won't promise that it's our next episode following, but we have our first guest coming.
Very exciting stuff.
Exciting.
That feels big, Mike.
I know.
It feels big.
We're huge. We are huge in our own minds.
It's all that matters.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much again. If you've watched us on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, comment, do something. Try to help us out. Come on, guys.
Please.
We're just trying. All we're trying to do is pay our bills here. Come on.
Absolutely.
It costs you nothing to do some engagement and help us out. Like, do you hate us that much? You just can't even do the tiniest thing to just engage? Do we
Mike, I feel
much?
like you might make some people mad.
If you're listening to us on Spotify, thank you also. Make sure you subscribe there. But those are really the two main places you can find us. We also have our website. You can find that info here at the end of the video. We'll put up our card. There's lots of places to find what, Time Magazine says is the most up and coming marketing podcast of the year.
Indeed.
I don't know if they really said that. Don't quote me on it. But
don't quote Mike on that.
Time Magazine could have said that if they knew who we were.
They knew we existed, correct.
If they knew who we were. So, all right. Again, everybody, thank you so
point.
much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We're going to keep grinding away at this. We just like talking about marketing. Tune in next week. We'll see you guys.